I don't like what I'm seeing from our rank and file. There's far too much chatter and far too much planning about what might be and not enough doing the work of what needs to be done in the next 7 days. I got a phone call the other day from somebody that says, Charlie, it's urgent, I need to talk. It was a donor of ours. And I said, okay, what is it? Sure. And he says, what do you think about me going into the administration? I said, what, the Biden administration? I said, I don't think you're going to get a...
We call it the Biden-Harris administration now.
And he said, oh, no, when Trump wins. I said, what the heck are you talking about? When Trump... I said, we got 7 days left. He said, oh, well, I really feel good about things. I said, what are you? That weirdo that ran the Hillary Clinton campaign? You know what I'm talking? Robbie Mook or something?
Robbie Mook, yeah.
Was it Robbie Mook? Am I right?
I think he was one of them.
Or
and
Robbie
also,
Stone? Can you look it up? I think it was Robbie Mook. And I said, I asked him, I said, what are you doing in the next 7 days to make sure Trump wins? He's like, oh, I said, no. I said, are you actually in the streets chasing ballots? Are you actually finding new voters? Because until then, don't ask me if you want to be undersecretary for housing and urban development.
Yeah, Robbie Mook, campaign manager, and then Podesta was the chairman.
The energy, everybody, that some are exhibiting is as if there's an inevitability that Trump is going to win. We have never, ever said that on the show. Have we, Blake?
Not once.
We call it as it is. And I'm here to tell you right now, on Tuesday, October 29th, 7 days of voting left. Yes, early voting is going well. Yes, voter registration is going well. Yes, our events are big and bold and blah, all that stuff. Okay, whatever. But you're up against the biggest, most powerful thing ever to exist in the history of the world. And you think they're just going to roll over with 7 days left? In fact, there's a New York Times article, and I confirmed it with 2 other reporters this morning, where Kamala aides feel a new sense of confidence. That all of a sudden they're like, hey, the Trump team is so overconfident that we're doing the work and we're on the ground, and they think that Trump's going to be very surprised on Election Day.
Here's the real truth, Charlie. We need one of those blue wall states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. All of them poll really close. All of them have close early voting. I talk to our data people, and they say it's close, period.
Yes.
And if a miracle happens and we win by 10, great. No one will celebrate harder than us.
I've never bought into that nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also, again, this is, you're not betting the Vegas line here, okay? If you win one of the battleground states, you need a blue wall state. You're president. If you win New Mexico, what? You get bragging rights? I mean, so again, I understand Trump going to New Mexico, border messaging, all that sort of stuff. But listen, everybody, this is where you guys come in. The next 7 days, you have to go hog wild and go nuts. And I'm going to tell you, I'm losing my voice. Everyone's sick. It's a disaster over here, okay? It's like an intensive...
Charlie is limping over the finish line here.
No, I mean, it's as if it's like an intensive, it's like a war unit around here, right? We got like stretchers in the hallways at Turning Point Action. Everyone's coughing.
Charlie is walking wounded is the term.
This year we got pathogens we never heard of before. No one's sleeping. They got all sorts of different drugs over there that I think are legal. Not heroin or stuff, but like, accelerants. I don't think they've slept. I mean, they're on like some form of Adderall and coffee, which I told you shouldn't mix. But look, we're running on fumes here. And I'm exhausted and fatigued, not just physically, but about the people that think that this thing is an inevitability. The cake is not baked, everybody. So what does that mean? That means you have to go do something. That's what it means. And you can do it from a blue state. You can right now download the Turning Point Action app, and you can go contact voters. I have a question for you. By the way, a lot of people are, oh, Charlie, can I have tickets to AmFest? I said, nothing exists. Right? Blake, what do you have to say?
The world ends on November 5th.
There is no, it is.
I get asked, what are your Thanksgiving plans? What are your Christmas plans? I don't know. The election hasn't happened yet.
No, exactly. People say, well, Charlie, can I have tickets to AmFest? And I say, there is no way. AmFest does not exist until November 6th.
I haven't seen anything about it.
Lauren is freaking out. And
I forgot that it was happening.
I told the team, I don't want to see it. I said, there is no promo. I said, this is not, we're not here to, just run an event. We're here to save a country. And then we can have an event. Anyway, if you got, people are going to reach out to me, I'll say, okay, I'm going to, if you want free AmFest tickets, my first thing was say, okay, let me see how many doors you knocked on during the election. I'm going to go back in the app because I have all the data. And there's 7 days of voting left, everybody. 7 days of voting. And yes, I could spend all hour going through how North Carolina looks good and Arizona returns are positive and Nevada returns are remarkable. Okay, but what are we actually doing here? And too many of these shows right now are getting high on their own supply. I mean, I was just listening to some of these podcasts this morning. Oh, Trump's victories and inevitability. And what this is bad news bears, everybody. I'm telling you right now. And by the way, bad news bears being, our beloved Bears that were too cocky and too arrogant where they were literally celebrating during the play. And the Kamala team I'm telling you right now, this was going to happen. Tonight, Kamala Harris has some sort of a rally in the ellipse. I think it's tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And she's going to not recreate, but, do the whole January 6th thing.
I think, is she going to speak in the same spot Trump did? I think that was.
So it's like, again, they're going to hold. I mean, you want to talk about every media outlet, it's going to be as exhausting as you can imagine. Full tilt. You might say, oh, Charlie, how's that's going to move votes? Kamala's new strategy is to go after high propensity suburban voters. Black voters are not turning out, and now it's high propensity suburban voters. And do not underestimate college educated voters' ability to screw up the country. Do not underestimate that. Do not underestimate people that have a bunch of degrees from University of Denver and degrees from UW-Madison that are on their phone all day long and work for Salesforce or work for Dropbox or work for Deloitte or Ernst & Young, and all of a sudden they're told that Donald Trump is a fascist, and we might be surprised on Election Day. They're going after suburban women, suburban voters, and college-educated voters. That's what tonight is all about. And they have a well-oiled machine. And every single election since the reversal of Roe versus Wade, every single election since the reversal of Roe versus Wade, they have overperformed polling. Every single one. Right, Blake?
It's very true. It's sad. We don't like it, but it is true.
Their machine is just it's very good. It's very precise. And it's not doing us any good when people think that victory is an inevitability. And so that's where all of you have to go find one new voter today. That can actually make a sizable and a meaningful difference. Blake, where does this cockiness come from? Is this human nature?
I think there's a bit of it. I think, truthfully, I actually think it's a side effect of the Trump realignment. And it's a product of some things that are good. It's that Trump and kind of the movement he's cultivated, they certainly aren't as easily bossed around by what the left tells you to think, where how many times has Trump been, done, the walls are closing in, he's finished forever now because this video, this interview, this thing he said at a rally, we've heard it 100 times. You need a lot of self-confidence to just power through that. But a side effect of that is that when you're not getting actively torn down in that way, you think like, I'm unstoppable. It's already won.
But you think you're bulletproof and you walk on water.
You think you're invincible. I mean, you can even see this, Trump in interviews and stuff. He'll say he thinks he wins every single state, basically, if not for, the fraud or whatever. And I think he just genuinely believes that because Trump is like, I'm awesome. Why wouldn't I get, 80% of the vote? Because, compared to Kamala. And, maybe he should. He probably should get 80% of the vote versus Kamala. But
I am nowhere near as bullish as the betting market. I think this is a 50-50 election. I've said that the entire time. And if we let off this week and all of a sudden you guys say, I'm going to go watch a football game because I think Trump has it. Urgency and relentlessness. This week, you need to go nuts and find new people to vote. Has your circle voted? Has your son voted? Has your daughter voted? Has your granddaughter voted? Has your cousin voted? And look right here, they're doing the whole thing. Thousands expected for Harris campaign's closing argument at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. Get ready, everybody. It's going to be full tilt propaganda.
They keep saying closing argument. There's a week to go.
Yeah, and again, the closing argument usually happens Sunday night or Monday night. And so cockiness is a cancer. Email me your successful early voting stories. And just going on the side of a street corner and waving a Trump flag, that ain't doing anything, okay? Love you guys to death. I think it inspires you throughout the summer. Fine. Go find a human being and bring them to a voting center. Go right now into a Denny's. Wear a MAGA hat. Somebody will give you a thumbs up. Go find them and ask if they have voted and be relentless. Stop measuring curtains and start chasing ballots.